This project for EndTrachoma started back in 2016, and it was actually done as part of the Centenary Project. As Ian mentioned, it was actually Ian Risley who was the international president at that time, and my apologies because I got confused as to what Ian you were going to mention. But yeah, certainly Ian Risley, international president, was backing EndTrachoma at that time, and we're still going. 2016, we're now 2024. We did think the disease would be gone by now, but unfortunately with COVID, it sort of threw us back a bit. However, our work has certainly been beneficial, I think, in protecting our Indigenous peoples in not getting COVID as much. So in that regard, it's great. So what is trachoma? Trachoma is the leading cause of infectious blindness in the world. Australia is the only developed country that actually still has it. Now, the Eye and Ear Hospital in Melbourne was built to treat trachoma back in the 1920s. And certainly it disappeared, I will say, from white people, but unfortunately it's actually still within our remote Indigenous communities. So what happens is, it's the chlamydia trachomatis is the eye disease, and what it causes is the infection under the eyelids. It causes the eyelashes to turn in. So if you can imagine this, your eyelashes are turning in now, and they're going to scratch your eye on every time you close your eye. Yeah. So we've certainly heard stories about people out in the sun and they just can't stand the sun. And these are kids, you know, they're out there trying to learn, they can't, and they have to keep their eyes closed and they're in so much pain. So we're certainly on a goal of actually stopping trachoma. All right. So this is trachoma. So your vision, this is what we see. All right, and this is what somebody with trachoma sees. You imagine trying to be learning in that situation to school. So it's nothing for a child to have 150 infections in their lifetime, just when they're a child. 150. So while this is happening, they're not learning. So you can see where it is around Australia, around the world, I should say. And you can see little Australia down here, but there's quite a few countries. It's 41 countries in total that have actually got it. And there are countries that are getting rid of it that should not have it by now. It's actually the countries that are areas away from water. All right, so you've got countries and people living near the water, there's less chance they'll actually have trachoma. But when you actually move into remote areas and the water supply is limited, that's where you end up with trachoma. So this to give you an idea of where the areas are. So I've written here that back in 2019, the overall rate of trachoma was 14% of the at-risk population. So 14% of the at-risk population had trachoma. It has to be at least under 5%. All right, so we had a bit of a way to go. In 2019, it's reduced to 4.5, and 2021, 3.3. Now, you're probably thinking, Sandy, why haven't you got the results for 2023? Like, this is, you know, crazy. Because it takes them at least 18 months to get the results to us. So it's really hard when we've been doing projects to actually know, well, how are they working? Are they successful? Do we keep going with them? You'll see here that we've got Northern Territory, and there's three sort of areas here, Alice Springs, Barkly and Katherine, which are 6 to 10%. Now, Alice Springs, when I first started here, we were over 20%. They were very high. You've got the Goldfields region, and this is now still over 10%. You have the challenges in the Goldfields region. One, there's not a lot of water supply. You have a multitude of communities in there, different languages. So it's certainly the most challenging area of the country that's involved. When they measure trachoma, the rates, they're talking about kids aged 5 to 9 years old. That's how we grade it. So you certainly get adults with trachoma. But when we're talking statistics, we actually measure it on the 5 to 9-year-olds. Just the figures we've actually got recently, though, I actually found them last night. I just wanted to run you through quickly. So the Northern Territory has certainly dropped down in rates, but in 2021, the at-risk population, 3.8% had trachoma in 2021. In 2022, I'm pleased to say it's dropped again to 2.3. So it is reducing, which is fabulous. South Australia, and that was probably the first place we started with the APY lands. We did a lot of work there, moved up into Northern Territory and have been working in Western Australia as well for the last few years in conjunction. South Australia have got a reading of nil, all right, nil trachoma, which is fantastic. And WA, the average across the state of WA was 5% in 2021. It's down to 3.1%. So we're all heading in the right direction. We've just got to get all areas under 5% for us to be working on eliminating a trachoma. So this just gives you an idea of how the actual figures, each state has actually reduced. So I was saying about South Australia, they actually didn't do any reading here, I think was what the issue was. But you can see they've dropped down, they were 0.9, they're down to 0. If you look at the Northern Territory, see they're up over 20%. They're coming down gradually, but just gradually coming down, and again they've actually reduced down to just over 2%, which is fantastic. And WA in the yellow, they're actually the highest at the moment, but again because of that area of the goldfields. So our aim for since 2016 is to be about prevention of diseases like trachoma. So we actually get to help with other diseases, and we're talking about things like ear infection, kidney disease, scabies, rheumatic heart disease, tooth and gum disease. So there's a lot of diseases that go around, but the work that we do with trachoma has actually helped with a number of other fields as well, which is an absolute bonus. So. But that's been our goal. So from when Murray was here, he would have introduced you what we call the SAFE strategy. The World Health Organization asked Rotary to be a part of the EndTrachoma Project, right, to see what we could do to actually help. So we have what they call surgery as one of the ways of treating trachoma. Another way is through antibiotics. We don't deal in either of those. What we do work with, though, is facial cleanliness and environmental cleanliness. So facial cleanliness and environmental cleanliness, we work in the prevention space. And certainly as Rotary has got a fabulous name out in community about the work that we actually do. It's a little bit hard to see. Was anybody at convention? Who went to convention in Melbourne? Yep, a couple of people. Anyway, we had this huge banner, 2 metres long, which was just fantastic to show everybody all the different projects that we've actually done since 2016. As I say, the donation of $1,000 from this club has actually gone into contributing. So we've donated washing machines into Santa Teresa. We would love to do more washing machines, but we don't put them in communities unless they, in a sense, ask for them, but then they're prepared to look after them. All right, so there has to be that complete package for us to provide them. So Santa Teresa have, and doing very well. We've actually provided, we've actually done over 14,000 towels into Western Australia. So we imported those from India through my sister-in-law, but and they love the towels. I'll show you a photo a bit later of some kids using them. Just talking on the towels though, hands up here who doesn't have their own towel at home. Yeah, nobody. You all have their own towel. So a lot of our Indigenous communities don't have their own towel. So what do? They either share a towel, which means they share trachoma, which is an infectious disease. They dry themselves with their dirty clothes, yeah, or they just drip dry. Okay, so it's really hard to imagine for us because we have towels. So that's why we're very happy to be providing towels wherever we can. Toiletry kits has been a great project that, and the District 9780, I'll show you shortly, have done a fabulous job with participating. Graeme's done an excellent job with actually leading the toiletry kits in 9780. We've done over 10,000 in total. We've done water stations in communities like Titchikala. It costs $30,000, but just providing water stations around the area, because if they've got water, to wash their hands, clean their faces, the trachoma is far less likely to exist. And they don't have that sort of basic infrastructure around. Water trailers, we even branched out and did bikes, which is a little hard to see there, but I had one of the teachers from Yarralin School up in Northern Territory said, is there any way you can get us some bikes? Anyway, so I put a call out on our EndTrachoma Facebook page, and it was just fabulous, the responses we got. It was the men's shed in Queenscliff that actually put their hand up and said, we'll provide the bikes. They had to be mountain bikes, so they provided 24 mountain bikes. We paid for the transportation up into Yarralin, but it meant this teacher was able to take these kids out on country, and he was actually able to show them the beautiful country that they live in. But he was just a beautiful David Dane. He was just a fantastic teacher, really cared about the children at this school, so we were able to help that just through the Rotary network, which is great. What else have we got here? Trailers, which I'll take you through, more toiletry kits, water bottles, mirrors. Hands up who doesn't have a mirror in their home? No? Nobody? We have, it's very hard to imagine really, but this is an acrylic mirror. This is an acrylic mirror, and we've provided 8,000 of these into homes around Western Australia, Northern Territory, South Australia, and it actually enables adults and kids to be able to see that they've got a dirty face, or don't. And they have to be acrylic, because otherwise they do get used as weapons. We can't have glass. So it was actually, I offered them to one of the communities. I said, I've got one of the clubs who'd like to provide mirrors, and she said, oh, no, no, no. And I wasn't even thinking. And why are you saying no? Because we've done so many. Anyway, then I said to her, they're acrylic. And she goes, oh, yes, please, we'd love them. And they stick up easily, so they're really easy to install. So they've been an absolute wonderful project that quite a few clubs have contributed to. Anyway, so moving along. So this is the Mirror project, as I was just saying, over 8,000. So they get installed into different homes around South Australia, Northern Territory and WA. We've also provided towel hooks. When Murray was here, some of you may have mentioned about, we did the camp washing machines. So who's familiar, who does coast camping here? Any campers? No. There were these fabulous washing machines, and you just had the wheel and you turn them. They'd hold maybe a sheet or a few pairs of jeans, and we imagine if you had one of these in every household, you know. And even to the point where you might have a young teenage girl who comes home, it's that time of the month, she wants to wash something, you know, she can do it herself. Anyway, unfortunately, the kids decided that the lids were fantastic boomerangs. So they'd fling them. The problem is they never came back. Right? And then they didn't do spare parts. So unfortunately, we had to let it go. But honestly, it would have been one of the best projects if we could have given to about every home with one of these portable washing machines. We did do a soap making course, but they're about $1,500 each. And what it was about getting people to be comfortable using soap. So if I came up to any one of you and said, look, I think you should be using soap because you're really dirty, you'd all tell me to bugger off, right? So it was about how do you have that respectful conversation with people to say about soap. So what we did was a bit of an enterprise. They make the soap and then they could sell it, but they wanted to use it as well. So it was a respectful way of actually getting them to use soap. The face washers were one of the best projects we would have loved to have kept going, but this is where you get different people of different opinions. If we speak to community, they love their face washers. And there are schools the kids will come in, they'll wash their faces, clean their teeth every morning, every afternoon before they go home. They wash the face washers, and so they've got a clean face washer the next day. We would have loved to have given a face washer to every child, but unfortunately it's nothing to do with Rotary, not us, but some other people that sort of in other positions decided no, it wasn't appropriate. They wanted to do the wipes, the disposable wipes, but then you end up with all this rubbish everywhere. Yeah, so not acceptable. Anyway, the washing machines, as I said, I've got two other communities I'd like to get washing machines into, Nung Mariana and Ambladowitch. They've got, Ambladowitch has got about 20 homes. Some of the homes, 3 bedrooms, have 25 and 35 people living in them. No hot water. Young mother, 6-month-old baby, gets to July, really cold, can't even wash their child. It's just unbelievable to think that's how they're living. So, but anyway, trying to get washing machines into those communities would be fantastic. Now these are the towels. We did over 10,000 towels to begin with. We've ordered another 6,000. But I love this shot of this kid walking around with his towel. You know, we need to take ownership of the items they give. It's really enlightening. So, but yeah, so we organise these towels especially for the delivery. So the right colours. You know, we don't want white towels. We need to use good quality towels. They cost us actually they were about $4 landed, I should say. They were really cheap. They've now gone up to $7. But that was a project, again, that was very well received. Water trailers. So we've provided 3 of these water trailers. They're called portable potable water. So when they have sorry business, you'll get a lot of people who will leave a community and go into another community. You might have a community that's only used to having 40 people, and all of a sudden there's 150 in town. They don't have the water supply. So the councils and the communities try and take these trailers, the ones we've donated, 3 of them, into those communities so they have a water supply. You'll actually see there's there's a mirror here, and there's also a wash basin, so they get to actually wash. There was a water supply to wash themselves, so it's really important. The trailer you're referring to was the interactive trailer. So we did actually work with designing this first trailer, and it was great because what it was about teaching kids to have fun with water. So they'd actually have that water supply. It's about music, dancing, playing with the water, and it was an educational tool. And you'll see Milpa the goanna here, who is just fantastic. The kids love him. It's clean faces, safe eyes. And he's just brilliant. So he's been around a long time and certainly encourages the kids to use water, wash their faces. Down here is our little baby. This trailer, actually there's now 4 of them that move around Western Australia. They go from community to community. So go back probably about 5 years ago now, they only had 2. So we've actually funded 2 of them at $48,000 each. And they are one of the best investments that we've actually contributed to. So if you can imagine, a trailer goes into a community and they actually have to be invited. So this is the EndTrachoma group that operate through Curtin University in Western Australia. Fantastic lady by the name of Dr. Mel Stoneham who leads it, and we think she's brilliant, and Scott Mackenzie as well. And they actually have a team of people, and they'll go around from community, as I say, into community for a week. So this trailer that you'll see here has a barbecue. It also has a washing station. It has a generator. It has a jumping castle. So at the end of the week, when they've been into people's houses and almost invading people's houses, fixing things like taps, broken taps, shower heads, leaking toilets, light bulbs, they'll give them mirrors, they'll give them towels, and then at the end of the week they have a celebration. So you leave on a really good note. Barbecue sausage, the jumping castle, and it's all in this trailer, and it travels around community. Now, you'll see the washing machines here are broken. They don't actually cope with the hard water. It's really hard water up in the outback. But you'll see all this washing here. And like you talk about Trachoma, is just sort of, in a sense, can be living there. So we've got to get it cleaned. But these trailers are just fabulous. So this is just another one recently that have been out on community. And just wanted to quickly share that one of the visits was actually into Jameson, I should say, in WA, where there was an outbreak of scabies at the old people's home, and they needed washing machines. So for starters, how on earth they don't have washing machines in an old people's home is amazing. So the trailer stayed 2 weeks at the aged care facility and was working non-stop. They did over 100 loads of washing of blankets and clothes. 100 loads of washing. Now you sort of think, if that trailer didn't go there, what would they have done? What would they have done? And then there's another one who the health project went well considering there was only 4 families in community, and this is at a place called Arungadji. One of the elders is currently in hospital, not expected to last much longer. Most people were in Headland for this reason. We did a total of 19 loads of washing over 2 days, from 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The health initiative is well received, most with families utilised a community wheelbarrow to bring their piles of blankets over to where we situated the office box. We had some good yarns with some of the families and children, and the community members are still under the impression that this trade is well worth its weight in gold and would like this service on a more regular basis. So it's been, when you hear results like that where they really appreciate it, it certainly makes a difference. So one of the projects we did was toiletry kits. And this was back in, I think, starting in 2020, 2020, sort of during the end of COVID. We started off, we were going to do 1,000 toiletry kits. I'd contacted the schools to see how many they want, how many they needed, how many children have you got. And what I found out, they gave me the number of kids who attended school, not the number who were enrolled. So our project of 1,000 went up to 2,000 because their truancy is so high. District 9780 participated really heavily with this particular project, led by Graeme. There was just under 500 kits that actually came out of District 9780. So if we think of all the districts around Australia, 25% came out of this district. So Graeme did a fantastic job with actually promoting this. So it's just brilliant. What happened is that I would actually match you with a community, with a school. So if you said that, okay, Sandy, we actually want to make 50 kits, okay, I'll find a school that's got 50 children, and then you'd make the kits, send the kits off to the school, and ideally there's a connection that becomes available with that school. And the connection then after that is unknown. So we then did just under 1,000 in the Barkly region. So Alice Springs, I should just say though, these guys, Alice Springs, their trachoma rates were over 12%. Over 12%. I don't think it's by coincidence. I think it's helped. But they went from 12% to 5.6% after us doing this project. So 12% down to 5.6. I've never seen a decrease like it in the 7 years I've been working with trachoma. So just under 1,000 in Barkly region. They dropped slightly. Catherine they couldn't do the readings back in 2021 because they had COVID. So there was nobody allowed in to do the readings. But these are the kids sort of, yeah. And then we're on to the family-sized kits at the moment. So families as first teachers centres. They're like our preschools, but what they have is an adult goes with the kid to school. So it could be a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, or somebody who actually goes along with them. And so we're now providing family-sized kits, because we can't just do one kit for a child. We actually need to do it for the whole family. So they're more complicated, but they're fabulous, and it's about helping all the kids. So there's people sewing the bags, sourcing all the items, putting together, and even engaging the local school to actually put the kits together. The kids absolutely love it. And this is just one of the schools in Watawanya that was the kits made by the Rotary Club of Lilydale in Victoria, and you'll see the smiles on their faces, but all the bags are different. They're all handmade, so there's actually people who sew the bags, fill up all the bags and send them off. It's just, and then we end up with these thank you letters to the different clubs. So every sponsor's a bit different, but we have made just over 10,000 kits now, just over 10,000 kits in 3 years, and it's just been amazing. I've had over 80 Rotary clubs, Rotaract clubs, Interact clubs, who've actually helped to make these kits. So it's been such a wonderful partnership. It's been far better than we could ever imagine. So our current projects are, we're continuing to do the families as first teacher kits. One kit that works out at around about $100 as a budget. Some clubs make them for less than that, but we estimate $100 because it is for four people. I'm in the process of putting together 590 home hygiene kits for Alice Springs, because there's people up there who are visiting communities, and they can use it as a bit of a bribe to get into the house and make sure that all the health hardware in the home is actually working. Otherwise, they won't let you in. So we'll give them some towels, we'll give them some cleaning products, we'll give you soap, some bacterial wipes, just things that they actually need that otherwise they don't get. They're so expensive for them to buy in the stores up there. It's just crazy. So, and then we're doing used stamps. So that's where I'm going to bring in. These are the clubs just in District 9780, just to let you know that's the number of clubs that have actually participated in this project. So there's 31 clubs out of District 9780, which is pretty fabulous. So it's, as I say, it's been such a great partnership for us to work, and we've over 250 clubs across Australia have actually partnered with us to make a difference. So which is just fabulous. So Graeme, would you like to come up and talk about this amazing project that? A fundraiser.
Just a quick question on that.
Yeah.
You say they're very expensive up there. The stores that sell stuff don't get a little upset that you're bringing in stuff that they wouldn't sell?
Ideally what we're doing, I guess, is almost buying them, say, I'd say a bar of soap. Yeah, bar of Dove soap. We give them one, and then they see the benefit of using it, that they then work out how they're going to buy it locally. Right, so it's not to replace what's up there, but at the moment the stuff is so expensive that they wouldn't even think about buying it. I mean, even a basic set of sheet set, if we went to Kmart or Target, we'd probably get a single sheet set for maybe about $20, I think. They're $80. And they're not any quality sheets, but they don't have the washing ability, so they'll wear these sheets, they won't wash them, and then they perhaps get to the point where it's time to wash, but they're just threadbare. So they need to throw them out and start again. But anyway, I could keep going on stories about that, I can tell you, but we won't. Do you want that? Do you want that?
I'll just have this. Thank you, Sandi. I might backtrack just a bit. The kits that we put together, they're all collected. I think we had, at that stage, 18 clubs involved doing all these kits, and there were 60 boxes at one stage in my passageway, so I had to sort of get round, but we got there. I then went to Future Freight in Camperdown. The owner of that business, her daughter, was sponsored by the Rotary Club of Camperdown as a youth exchange student. And Michelle, I went round to see Michelle. Oh, I'll sort that out for you. I said, well, I need an invoice. So I go round to see Michelle. She rings me and says, there's an invoice for you. And she says, it's $1,500. I'm paying for it. I said, no, I'm paying for it, because what Lizzie learnt and what her experience of youth exchange was just so fantastic, I could never give you enough money back. And that was really fantastic. We, as a club, we gave Michelle PHF, which I thought was a fantastic thing to do. So that's just backtracking with that. The stamps, I peeled at conference, was it last year, the year before? I don't know, we lose. It was the one at Ballarat. I got 30 to 40,000 stamps. Probably over the years, we've probably got over 60,000 stamps. So it's just fantastic. We must have a bit of envelope around the outside, or else they get discarded. They go to Melbourne. They are sold. Camille's a wonderful Rotarian, and she collects them and goes to a man in Brighton who's an international stamp auctioneer, and the money goes to EndTrachoma. And I understand where this figure, 56,000, which we're paid for at least one of those EndTrachoma trailers. It's above 60,000 now. That was 12 months ago or something? Yeah.
About 6 months ago now.
Yeah. So it's probably above about 60,000. At our Rotary Market in Camperdown, we have our table, and we collect stamps, we collect hearing aids, we collect glasses. The hearing aids I take to Melbourne every so often, and probably over the years it's now something in the order of 400 or 500 hearing aids. They are refurbished and taken to Indigenous people in Australia and or the Pacific Islands. And that's for people who can't afford hearing aids, and I think that's a wonderful project. We all have parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles who pass on. The hearing aids are often thrown out. They shouldn't be. The same happens with glasses. Glasses is a Lions project, but the glasses are sent to 2 long-term prisoners in Queensland who are basically doing something positive in their life, and when they come out they'll have their own business. They refurbish the glasses, they shine, polish them up, etc. Having glasses is better than having none at all. They mightn't fit. I mean, there'd be people who'd be looking like this, but they mightn't be the right thing exactly, but at least some glasses are better than none. So I think we're doing work, and it's also involved with environment. We're recycling, but we're doing work to help not just Indigenous people, but our Pacific Island neighbours. And I think that's very important. And as a Rotarian, we should be looking to do that project. I understand the Geelong clubs are also involved in the environment stuff with the blister packs, and that's fantastic. It's now spread to Colac and Warrnambool, and I think we need to be pushing that as part of the environment stuff that we're doing in the district. So I'd like to say thank you to you as a club, and thank you to all the Rotarians in Geelong who have helped with this project. It's just helping the life and well-being of a whole lot of other people. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandi and Graeme, for a really interesting presentation. Has anyone got any questions that you'd like to ask? Yes, David?
So as far as EndTrachoma is concerned, clearly you have a list of sub-projects, if you like, you're trying to do to meet the overall objective of ending trachoma. To what extent is that purely Rotary doing that, or are you supporting local community health organisations and other organisations like that in achieving the end result?
Great question, and we partner with about 20 other organisations across Australia to actually help with the fight for trachoma. So they're all paid organisations. We're obviously a voluntary organisation. And I have to say that one of our directors, Rob McGuirk, he actually went to one of the Northern Territory trachoma meetings, and he was almost blown away because everybody else was telling everybody else about all the projects that we're doing. So our projects are really well received. They are in the prevention space, and we can do things that they can't. So, but it's definitely a partnership, 100% a partnership. We work very closely with Indigenous Eye Health, who's here. They do a number. They've got Milpa, who's the goanna, who we promote. But there's the CDC, so the Centre for Disease Control. There's too many for me to remember, to be honest with you, but we have a meeting every month. We participate on that meeting, and it is a national Australia trachoma meeting. So yeah, it's good, really good.
So it's an EndTrachoma. It's a viral infection. Can it be eradicated from a community, and then that's counted as ended?
Correct. Correct. A bit like polio, has to be eradicated for 3 years. No cases of polio for 3 years. It's the same with trachoma.
So is it much transit from community to community, or?
Yeah, it's sharing. You're actually asking a community who's writing to sharing to stop sharing. You know, so it's got to be done in a really respectful way. Yes. Really respectful way. So this is where we give these kits, and they're almost personalised. So it's a kit made with love. So the bag's handmade. They're all different colours. They'll get a matching face washer and hand towel, but for the family there's 4 different colourways. 4 different colourways. We don't do white, right, because obviously they would just get filthy. They don't want it, so we don't give it to them. But they've got their own kit, their own toothbrush, their own bar of soap, they've got shampoo and conditioner. You know, all of a sudden they've got these, and I love it when you hear the teachers go, oh, thank you for the kits. The kids smell beautiful. You know, it's just, it's really funny, but yeah, they love it as well. So, and we actually have to remember to give them to the Indigenous teachers. Because there's the teacher there, and they're actually giving all these kits out to the kids, and they're actually Indigenous person themselves. They've got kids at home. They don't have any of this stuff, so we've had to remember, let's find out how many Indigenous teachers do you have at the school. We're not interested in the Caucasians. They can look after themselves, and we make them kits as well for their family, so they really love it.
I was just going to ask whether Sandi Blight is the same as
Correct,
Trachoma.
spot on.
Because that was in Such Is Life, which is by Joseph Fulcher. He got it. But now, do sheep and cattle get it?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Why do only humans get it?
Yep, that's a very technical question. No idea. But chlamydia trachomatis, that's the disease, and yeah, I don't know. I have never had that question asked.
Won't get to get it.
It is, yeah, bacterial infection, absolutely, and it's very contagious. So, just like conjunctivitis, yeah, just like that, more damage.
So the areas where you have eradicated it, you know?
Look, it's going down. Like the APY lands in South Australia was certainly the area that we started off in 2016-17. I came in 2017. We brought in the first trader that you were talking about. That sort of went into APY lands. We did the mirrors in there. We did a whole variety of probably trial projects, I suppose, but we haven't worked in there for probably about 5 years now. They're okay. They're okay. We're able to leave it to other people. The greater need in Northern Territory, greater need in Western Australia. So yeah, there are communities that are going. So when I do the Families as First Teachers project, the kids, I'm actually connecting with somebody at the Family as First Teacher Centre, and I say to them, who would like kits? And they come back and say, we'd like 40. Can you please tell me what your rates of trachoma are? Some people don't even respond and don't come back, so they go, oh, well, that's not it. So I've got to follow up again. We don't have trachoma, but we've got scabies, we've got school sores, we've got other things. So if they don't have trachoma and they have actually got these other diseases, then I'm saying, let's send the kids. Let's still support you, because if they can get into some good habits, they obviously need it, then it'll actually help with preventing diseases. So I think a lot of the work we did before COVID actually helped them not get COVID, because they developed the washing the hands, washing the faces, not sharing. There was some of that done around the community, so I think that had a benefit as well with them not having as bad a result with COVID. It would have been different, I think, otherwise.
Yes. The idea is to set everyone up with one kit. I was just wondering, do you replenish, and do you have any sort of figures on how much people take up the issue of now replacing my toothbrush or buying the next cake of soap or whatever?
Look, we don't have the figures, and it has been a bit of a challenge, because I guess in a sense, like, you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink. So we really encourage the school to get in contact with the Rotary Club. We're in a better place now with the Families as First Teacher kits, because I'm dealing directly with the centre. Previously, with the 30-odd schools around Alice Springs, I was dealing with the Department of Education. I had one person. She was communicating with the schools, and then she and I were communicating, and I was communicating with Rotary clubs. So I could go to her and say, look, such and such a school hasn't responded, and message this Rotary club, can you follow it up? Some of them did, some of them didn't. The ones that have connected, they've ended up getting replenishment items, but also other things like funeral clothes. They'll put a call out for funeral clothes, or baby kits, kits for mothers, or they'll identify and share the challenges so the club can actually help. I can't say it's been a majority, but every single club that's come on board has actually been willing, or had to be willing, to do replenishment. That's the plan. But again, you can't make them do it. We can only offer, But certainly the relationship between the families as first teachers and the club, I can now have a greater impact in, a greater involvement, and actually create that, get that relationship, or set up the expectation to begin with. So, yeah, they will hopefully have that replenishment plan in place. The club's prepared to do it. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Thanks for